This video is brought to you by Surfshark.
In August, you told us Google and Facebook are too big. We ought to take the Teddy Roosevelt approach. Break them up. Don't let them control what people are allowed to say. They've now donated to the Trump inauguration. Are you still going to break up big tech?
So, you know who else was at the inauguration was my mom and a lot of people who just supported the president and fought every single day to get his election. And
they
to make
gave $1 million
it possible.
each to the inauguration.
Well, there were a lot of people who didn't give $1 million to the inauguration.
They got pretty good seating.
Who were on that stage, Margaret. They didn't have as good a seating as my mom and a lot of other people who were there to support us. But look, we believe fundamentally that big tech does have too much power, and there are two ways they can go about this. They can either respect Americans' constitutional rights, they can stop engaging in censorship, and if they don't, you can be absolutely sure that Donald Trump's leadership is not going to look too kindly on them.
Donald Trump's leadership, yeah. So I have a few more clips to play of J.D. Vance being confronted on grocery prices. Are they going to be lowered? J.D. Vance gets confronted on the January 6th insurrectionists, and in each clip you will see a masterclass of sane-washing Trumpism, of sidestepping the actual question, and even backpedaling things that Trump has done over the past week. But that's why I'm here to break it down. So in this first clip, you guys probably noticed how he used his mom as a deflection from the actual question, when in his answer, he reveals this difference between his actual rhetoric versus his action. So he cites his mom, but his own mother is someone who depended on Medicaid for healthcare. He's written extensively about how his mom has relied on the very mechanisms that people like Elon Musk want to cut with Doge, that people like Jeff Bezos want to hurt when he deregulates everything. You can see Mark Zuckerberg right here. So when J.D. Vance cites his mom being at the inauguration, he completely misses the point, but purposefully so. He's trying to deflect away from the fact that Elon Musk, for example, his net worth has soared 61% since the election. Read this really quickly. 5 of the world's 10 richest billionaires attended Trump's inauguration. Leading the list was Elon Musk, a vocal Trump supporter whose net worth soared 61% from $264 billion to $426 billion since the election. You can see right there, you can draw a direct line between Elon Musk entrenching himself in this Trump orbit and his net worth directly increasing at the cost of American people. It then says, also in attendance were Jeff Bezos, the world's second richest person, founder of Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Meta, who's the third richest individual on Forbes' list. You can see Apple CEO Tim Cook, you can see the Google CEO, as well as the Google founder, and you can look at this list right here, seeing the combined net worth of everybody at the inauguration, which makes it all the more slimy that J.D. Vance tried to deflect to his mom. Again, his mom, who has relied on Medicaid and other mechanisms. If you've read what he's written, his mom has been hugely reliant on Medicaid, which Elon Musk wants to cut. You can also look at Trump's cabinet. You guys have seen this chart. The estimated net worth of the Trump admin's wealthiest members. You see Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Howard Lutnick, worth $2 billion, Linda McMahon, worth $2.6 billion, Doug Burgum is worth $1.1 billion, and I can continue going down the list, but the point here is, you know, every politician has billionaire donors. That's not what we're claiming here, but there's a difference between accepting campaign contributions, which sure, Obama had billionaire donors, versus being so brazenly transactional that billionaires are lining up to fund you and to give you gifts in hopes that you'll deregulate industries in their favor. Even Jeff Bezos said recently he's optimistic about a new Trump term and can help with cutting regulations. Why the hell does the second richest man in the world need to make himself richer by cutting regulations that are meant to protect everyday Americans? I mean, it's so incredibly transactional, and that's why it's kind of disgusting that J.D. Vance tries to bring up his mom. He also says something to the effect of, these tech giants need to respect the American people and not all be consolidated. Just remember, a few days back, Donald Trump was the one who said he would be okay with Elon Musk buying TikTok, which means that Mark Zuckerberg would own Instagram, Facebook, and some other platforms. Elon Musk would own TikTok and X. That is not breaking up big tech. That is not trying to regulate big tech whatsoever. That's giving them free reign to act as state media. But let's go on to this next clip where J.D. Vance is straight up confronted about the January 6th insurrectionists.
An electroshock weapon against a policeman who was dragged out of the defensive line by plunging it into the officer's neck. He was imprisoned, sentenced to 12 years, 7 months. He got a pardon. Ronald Maccabee hit a cop while wearing reinforced brass knuckle gloves and he held one down on the ground as other rioters assailed the officer for over 20 seconds, causing a concussion. If you stand with law enforcement, how can you call these people unjustly imprisoned?
Margaret.
Is he going to give a real answer or is he going to sidestep? Let's see.
You're separating, there's an important issue here. There's what the people actually did on January the 6th, and we're not saying that everybody did everything perfectly. And then what did Merrick Garland's Department of Justice do in unjustly prosecuting well over 1,000 Americans in a way that was politically motivated?
Is violence like that against a police officer ever justified?
Violence against a police officer is not justified, but that doesn't mean that you should have Merrick Garland's weaponized Department of Justice expose you to incredibly unfair process.
Okay, he said violence against a police officer is not justified, but there should be no but after that, number one. But also, what did I tell you? J.D. Vance is a lot more articulate than Donald Trump, and he does a better job of sane-washing Trump's exact points. And this shouldn't be controversial that J.D. Vance is more well-spoken than Donald Trump. It's not a high bar to try to jump over. But I will say, J.D. Vance does give optically decent answers. We are here debunking them, but if somebody's watching this on TV, they're going to be like, yeah, that's my dude. So the point here is, I never want to hear any Trump supporters claim that they back the blue, they're the party of law and order, or that they respect the police more than the average liberal, when J.D. Vance is going on national television and straight up defending somebody who held down a cop and held a taser to their neck because this officer, this Capitol officer, was trying to protect the Capitol from other insurrectionists. He might as well have said, you know, attacks on police are never okay, but if you're wearing a MAGA hat and you're doing it in favor of Donald Trump, then it's okay. Also, we just need to continue debunking this Merrick Garland's weaponized DOJ talking point. Merrick Garland was so middle of the road that Biden might as well have appointed some moderate Republican as the Attorney General because, again, this shouldn't be controversial either. Merrick Garland, in multiple regards, kind of dropped the ball by slow-walking certain cases and thinking that upholding the norms would somehow make the Republican Party return to normalcy as well, when it actually just helped them take advantage of Merrick Garland's weakness. That shouldn't be controversial. So the idea that J.D. Vance is citing Merrick Garland's weaponized Justice Department, I'm sorry, what would you want him to do after an insurrection took place and people beat the shit out of police officers? You give them a due process, which is what they got. You let them have lawyers, a fair trial. All of these things happened. And if you're going to claim that they had terrible conditions in prisons, that's more of a reflection of the prisons themselves. Because these people had access to a fair trial and everything you could ask for. By the way, make sure you drop a like and double check to make sure you're subscribed to the Mockler channel. Before we play this clip, cheers to coffee on a Sunday morning during all of this absolute madness. Now, here's the question that I've been waiting for them to be asked. Brennan asks, you campaigned on lowering prices. Which executive order of yours has lowered prices? And J.D. Vance, he speaks in platitudes here. Just notice he speaks in pure platitudes. And while, yes, he's well-spoken, he's a lawyer, it's all platitudes. Listen.
Campaigned on lowering prices for consumers. We've seen all of these executive orders. Which one lowers prices?
We have done a lot, and there have been a number of executive orders that have caused already jobs to start coming back into our country, which is a core part of lowering prices. More capital investment, more job creation in our economy is one of the things that's going to drive down prices for all consumers, but also raise wages so that people can afford to buy the things that they need. If you look at our slate of executive orders, no, Margaret, prices are going to come down, but it's going to take a little bit of time, right? The president has been president for all of 5 days. I think that in those 5 days, he's accomplished more than Joe Biden did in 4 years. It's been an incredible breakneck pace of activity. We're going to work with Congress. We're, of course, going to have more executive orders, and we're going to try the way that you lower prices is that you encourage more capital investment into our country.
Okay, the most offensive part of all of that is claiming that they've done more in 5 days than Biden has done in 4 years because they haven't gotten anything passed through Congress yet. Joe Biden, if I wanted to count on my fingers the amounts of landmark legislation that Joe Biden passed, I would run out of fingers between the IRA, between the PACT Act, the CHIPS and Science Act. I can continue down the list, but you guys know where I'm heading with that. Joe Biden passed so much historic legislation domestically. Meanwhile, they signed a bunch of executive orders and are acting like they have saved the country because now they've emptied the prisons into the streets, and January 6th insurrectionists are now reoffending and getting rearrested. But either way, he is again sidestepping, deflecting from the fact that the vast majority of the executive orders that they've signed, almost every single one, have been just purely optical. Pulling us out of the World Health Organization, how does that lower prices? Pardoning a bunch of insurrectionists, how does that lower prices? How does pulling us out of the Paris Climate Accord lower prices whatsoever? And Trump is still posturing towards Canada and our other allies and saying he's going to put tariffs on them. That only raises prices. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to keep everybody blindfolded. What's the phrase? They're going to keep pulling the wool over people's eyes over the next few years and doing all of these distractions, whether it's Elon Musk doing the Hitler salute straight up, or it's the January 6th insurrectionists being pardoned. These are all straight distractions to make sure you don't realize the Ukraine-Russia war was not ended on day one. Actually, quite the opposite. Trump was begging Xi Jinping to end the war. And when it comes to prices going down, gas prices can fluctuate, but grocery prices are not going down. Deflation would be bad for the US economy, but now they've kind of trapped themselves in this hole because they promised throughout the entire campaign that grocery prices would go down. Egg prices, in fact, are going up. They are skyrocketing, but I'm gonna make another video about that. And really quickly, before we dive deeper in today's story, I want to take a second to thank the sponsor that made this video possible, Surfshark. Imagine a world where your online activity is completely private. Your favorite shows are just a click away, and you're always one step ahead of hackers. Surfshark can help you with that. I'm someone who hops around on the internet a lot. I research, I live stream, I edit, then I watch Netflix, you name it, I'm probably doing it online. And Surfshark is like having an all-access pass to the web while keeping everything I do locked down. For instance, I love jumping on a Surfshark to catch shows that aren't available in my region. You can use a VPN to unlock 15 new Netflix libraries. I love it. And when I'm working remotely, Surfshark lets me dodge those sneaky public Wi-Fi data thieves. But it's not just about streaming or security. Surfshark works on all of my devices with one subscription. I can pull it up on my phone, my laptop, even my smart TV allows me to use Surfshark, and it's loaded with features like clean web to block annoying ads or multi-hop if you want extra privacy. And get this, they're the only VPN that covers 100 countries. That's more coverage than any other VPN you can find. It's like the superhero cape for your internet connection. So do yourself a favor, go to surfshark.com/Mockler. That is Mockler. If you go there right now, you'll get 4 extra free months of Surfshark. That's 4 extra months to surf safely, stream freely, and stay secure. Again, that is surfshark.com/Mockler. The link will be in the description below, and you can secure your privacy and unlock the best the internet has to offer. So huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, for helping keep the independent media sphere afloat during this time, and most of all, for helping us all stay a little more secure in this ever-connected world. Surfshark.com/Mockler. Thank you.